So this is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Olympic medalist and, of course, unbeaten pro, Frazer Clarke. Frazer, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, Danny. Thank you. I'm all good.
Last time we spoke, about 3 months ago now, you had a cast on your right hand, result of a fractured thumb, suffered in sparring. How's the recovery been?
Yeah, it's off. It's been frustrating, annoying. Same as any injury, when you're an athlete, these things happen. Difficult time, but I've been literally chipping away at it, with the rehab now and getting to a place now where I think I'll be able to start punching in the next few weeks and then even sparring a couple of weeks after. So yeah, I'm on the right course.
Brilliant, good to hear. Any kind of talk about when you might be out?
Yeah, July 30th we're aiming for, so that's 6 weeks. So it's not too far, so it's literally something to build to now.
Now, previously, just before the injury happened, you were scheduled to fight Nguema, the Spanish champion, who Johnny Fisher fought. Is that likely to be resurrected, if you like, or will it be someone different?
Probably be someone different now, depending on his schedule and on what's going on. But I'm only human. I've had the injury. I was flying at the time. Do you know what I mean? And naturally, with the injury, things have slowed down. So probably, we'll have a look somewhere else, and then hopefully get that fight on in a couple of fights' time, or even the one after.
Now, I have to apologise in advance for getting so deep so early in the interview, but I wanted to ask you about a tweet you put out yesterday. So you said, some weeks I think boxing is in a great place. Other weeks I think it's a circus run by rats and snakes. Which is pretty scathing criticism, I guess. What provoked that tweet? What's going on?
Yeah, you know what? Just obviously, I don't really tweet too much. When I do look on there and I look at some interviews and that, and people could say, don't indirect call people out. It's not about calling people out. It's just the way I see. I love boxing. Boxing's something that I do. It's something I love. But I just feel like some people are just taking the piss out of it. With like the YouTube thing, the YouTubers fighting and all that. It's one thing, but now what I said yesterday, porn stars fighting, and the worst thing is they call it boxing. Do you know what I mean? That's what does my head in. And then just even some of the things like in the division. I think yesterday I was annoyed that what annoyed me. Oh, just some of the interviews. Was I watching? Someone was discrediting the Dubois win, right. and I thought, what, the guy. I'm obviously he's another heavyweight, but I was so impressed with the way he went over there and handled business. And but that's just just letting trolls annoy you. I shouldn't do it really, and then you just react by putting a tweet out. But yeah, it's just one of them things. But and then at the higher end of things, there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors on the business side of things that people wouldn't expect, and certain people in boxing, like, they come across as great people, and they want to help people, but really and truly, it's very fickle. And I understand now. I was told for years that boxing's a business. It really is. It really is a massive business. The sport side of things was in the amateurs. That was the sport of boxing. This is the business of boxing.
Now, on the subject of that Dubois win, we did an interview yesterday with Nathan Gorman, which hasn't gone live yet. It will go live probably this afternoon. And he said he was really impressed with Dubois, but on the flip side, he believes any top 15 heavyweight in Britain probably would have done similar to Trevor Bryan because of how poor he was. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but that's all hindsight. I don't think Trevor Bryan was great, if I'm honest. I never thought he was great on the build-up, the way he talked, and I think he's a bit of a prat. But I was just impressed with the way, people like Trevor Bryan. You can make them look better than they are if you don't go out there and set about them straight away, which Daniel did. And I was just impressed with even his engine. He kept going forward. He was jabbing. He was landing hurtful shots. And when them guys, because after round one, Bryan, he pretty much got into survival mode already. Do you know what I mean? Just pouring the jab out, leaning on the ropes, turning away. I think Daniel found some great shots. They're awkward when they lean back and they're putting their shoulder up. I think, if you see Daniel when he boxed, what's the fella called? Kevin Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a while back. I think it went the distance, didn't it? It was a bit of a...
he's still the only one who's taken him the distance.
Yeah, it stunk the place out. But, you could tell, you could see the improvements. Because I'm not saying he was like that, but it was a bit similar. The way after round one, he didn't want to know he's on the back foot. And I think he took him apart perfectly. And the shot that finished it was a great shot, left up.
Yeah, I thought he did really well. Since we last spoke, there's been an addition to camp up in Loughborough with Robert Garcia coming over, predominantly to work with AJ. Will you be doing any work with him, or have you done any work with him?
I've not done no work with him, no, but, I've been around him. By the time I've finished training, usually, by the time I've finished my day, my 2 or 3 sessions, I then get a chance to watch AJ training. And, so it's just very... As a member, I'm a boxing, not just a boxer, I'm a boxing fan. It's what I do. It's what I live and breathe it. So, on the evenings of camp, when there's not a lot going on in this hotel in Loughborough, I'm just down in the gym watching them train, watching them go through the paces. And, so it's really good to see Robert Garcia at work.
What sort of stuff is he, not what's he doing, because I don't want you to give away camp secrets, but what's the sort of style that he brings that maybe wasn't there before? Because Angel's obviously a very good trainer in his own right. They're working together. What's Robert Garcia added to the team?
I think experience, 14 world champions he's had. He was a great fighter himself. It was only last night I was watching Robert Garcia himself, some of his fights. Oh. He's, and I think he just has this, the more old school mentality, I think Angel's great with, with his training methods and his techniques and stuff. I think Robert Garcia is black and white, what you get from him. Do you know what I mean? Come in the gym, work hard, listen to what you're being told, and that's pretty much it. Do you know what I mean? There's no he's a man of like few words. He doesn't over talk. He doesn't not saying enough. He just gets in there, gets to the point. He wants you to work hard. And, I think we all need that as fighters. We all need someone like that in the camp. It's great.
We saw him in Richard Riakpor's corner last week as well. Do you think you might work with him going forward?
Possibly. He could do some work with Richard, definitely. I think, I've got to commend Angel Fernandez on the job with Richard because he's been there for a few years. You know what I mean? So I feel like no credit all can be given to Robert on that situation because that's all Angel's work, and Richard is really, this camp, this last 8 weeks, I've seen something different from him. And that was before Robert was here. He was training really well, sparring well, and I think he recognised even from the Juma fight, even though he won it and he won it well. I think he recognised them early rounds, that he could have done a lot more, and I think he just addressed it. And as you say, you go from stopping someone in the 8th round to getting rid of a better fighter in the second round. It's a big improvement.
And do you think you'll end up doing any work with Robert Garcia during his time in the UK?
I'd love to. I hope so. Whilst he's here, if he has the time, I'm all ears. I'm sponging. He's been in a couple of my sessions. He's probably a couple of words here and there. Nothing dramatic though, because obviously I'm still injured. So been a lot of like different sessions for me, a lot of one-handed stuff, and like I say, the old school in him, probably just waiting for me to get better, and then hopefully, if he sees me doing something wrong or he thinks I can add to my game, I'm all ears.
You talked before about the struggles to get sparring. You've got AJ gearing up for a huge fight, but against the Southpaw. Do you get a little bit frustrated when that happens? I mean, nothing you can do about it, but you think, I wish he was fighting an orthodox fighter because I could get him with him like old times.
Yeah, that would be lovely, and I'm sure in the future it will happen. But no, it's good. You know what? I've had some rounds with a couple of the Southpaw sparring partners. So, and that's with one hand. I'm at the minute I'm sparring with one hand. So it's been very testing to not have a backhand and spar a Southpaw. It's been testing. Been putting me under a lot of pressure, but great pressure, great learning. Yeah, it's difficult getting sparring. There's a lot of people you could spar. I'm probably going to end up fighting these people in not too distant future. So you've got to get that balance right. But sparring, I'm open to anyone coming in, whether we're going to fight or not. Everyone do each other a favour. And then obviously when the time does come where we're actually direct, rivals, and we could end up fighting really soon, you just knock it on the head. I don't think too much into it personally. I mean, some of these coaches and some of these fighters, they don't want to come and do the rounds because they don't want hard rounds. They like going round, and they get confidence from bashing up lesser people, in the gyms. And it's just bonkers, I want to spar. I don't want to spar anyone lesser than me. I want to spar better people. It's just difficult to get that opportunity. But when these top pros, the ones that are above me, do come with the opportunity, to go wherever it is in the world and sparring. Oh my God, I'm getting the passport and the suitcase, and I'll go because I know how. I remember I've done it for years. I know how valuable these experiences are of sparring different people.
And quick couple of other subjects while I've got you. Lauren Price recently made her debut, and she suggested at the pre-fight press conference to Adam Smith and Ben Shalom, it'd be great to do an all-Olympian card on Sky Sports. Would you be up for that?
Oh, 100%. It'd be great. I think for the paying public, probably, and for Sky, it probably wouldn't make too much sense in the minute because you have to base a card around. You need a main event. You need a headliner. You probably need to stick another title fight on there as well, because the Sky cards. Remember, Sky and Boxer is still a new outfit. They're getting better all the time. But I think that the cards definitely. You need a solid main event, a solid co-main event, and then you could probably build the Olympians under that. That'd be great. I'd definitely be up for it. With myself, Karis, Ben, Caroline. Who else is there? I think that's it for Lauren, obviously. It'd be exciting stuff, and probably in a couple. Once everyone's had a couple more fights, you get better fights, and everyone's doing more rounds, and you get better opponents because no one wants to know this, but no one wants to pay and come see you knock someone over. People want to see you in proper fights, and that stage will come for everyone. But I think at the stage we're probably at the minute, with the matchmaking and stuff, it's probably not going to happen in the next, couple of months, maybe a year's time. We're still you're Olympian forever, so you can still do that.
Now, someone you've been very supportive of in the past, Ben Shalom, boxer promoter, was recently in the news. I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to be honest, but someone filmed him listing subjects that he didn't want to address in interviews. And then somehow it got leaked and it came out, which, I don't think anyone thinks is a good thing. But what did you make of that whole incident and the discussion it started on social media?
Yeah, dickheads, arseholes. Whoever pressed play on that camera knew what they were doing. And, they sent it out. But obviously they didn't put their channel or header on it or anything like that. But they knew what they was doing. Don't do that. If you ever do that to me, I'm taking your camera. You'll never record again. You have to go and buy a new camera. Just think, I just can't stand it. That's probably part of what I'm saying, these doggy moves. On my tweet, I'm not just talking about promoters and different managers and this and that. If you're in the boxing media, support the fighters, support the promoters. Don't try and get a few views or get a bit of clout by doing doggy things like that. Do you know what I mean? It pissed me off, to be honest, when I was there. I just thought, that could have been any of us, and people say things all the time, me, in confidence, have conversations that can't be aired. They literally can't be aired. So to do something like that, Ben handled it really well, I think. He said is Richard Riakpor's fight week. He didn't want to speak about Hearn. He didn't want to speak about Problemum. He didn't want to speak about, what else was it? The zone. What's wrong with him saying that? Nothing at all. He wants to concentrate on Richard Riakport. The card is trying to build something great with Sky and Boxer, which he's doing a great job of. Let the man do his work. Don't try and leak something to make him look bad. Like I said, I'll take your camera off you. That's what happened because it's out of order. I hate things like that. But yeah, Ben's doing a good job. He's made some great signings. Announcement of Joseph Park the other day, fantastic for Sky, fantastic for people like myself. And then I'm sure there's a few more big signings coming yet, some headliners, and it'll be entertaining times and good times ahead.
And talking of boxer moves in the heavyweight division, a fight that was recently announced and then postponed, but I'm sure it is still going to happen. Hughie Fury, Michael Hunter. Really, really intriguing fight in that kind of world level in the heavyweight division. What do you make of that one?
Great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not glad it's postponed for Sky and Boxer, because obviously it's a bit of a nightmare for them. But for me, definitely the later that goes on, I'm going to be on that undercard, because obviously they're leaps and bounds above me at the minute. They're well ahead of me. But make no mistake about it, these are the guys that I've got my eye on for the future. I think Hughie Fury, for me, I just have to hold my hands up and say, what a man, what a team, because they take the fights. They are proper old school in their thinking, their methods. He's still young. He has some unbelievable, been in there with some great competition already. So, and to take on Michael Hunter, who's an active, he's a good fighter. He's proper good. So the opportunity comes, they take the fights. That's something that in my career, that's the way I want to go. With my team and stuff. I want to be like the old school guys. Take these fights.
And let's finish off with what was the feel-good story of the week on social media, and that was former British heavyweight champion Julius Francis chilling an unfortunate guy who was harassing him in his security job at Box Park in Wembley. Police have now confirmed there'll be no action taken against Francis, quite rightly, in my opinion. And the Box Park CEO also supported him throughout the incident. What did you make of it when it went viral on social media?
Well, I was around all them days. I'm surprised I missed it. I'm surprised I wasn't in the video, because I was around all weekend. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad I wasn't in the video. But Julius Francis, take a bow. There's too much of this. There's too many people that think they can carry on like this. I get it all the time. I get people trying to act up to me all the time. People want to fight me all the time for some mad reason. And it'll go the same way. The same way Julius put my man on his back, that's what will happen. It'll go the same way. So they need to just stop it. But I just hope, I'm not condoning the violence. What I'm saying is, people need to think before they act, before they speak, before they end up unconscious on the floor. Because it can happen like that. Julius Francis is a top geezer, proper nice man. I've got all the time in the world for him. And he's still got fast hands, and obviously I shook his hand. Honestly, God, his hand is about 4 times the size of mine.
Yours are big enough.
Yeah, and so I said, this guy, I hope it teaches him a lesson. I'm glad he's not like, I don't think he's hurt off it. His pride might be a bit damaged, but that's now and then. That's what you need. Just need knocking down a peg or two. So, big up Julius. And if you go to the Box Park, if you're going anywhere, actually, just show some respect and manners. Don't go around trying to be the big man when you had a drink. Like, don't get me wrong, we've all done it. We've all acted up. You got to think twice, because next time that could be you.
Good stuff, mate. Really, really appreciate your time. I've kept you for ages, haven't I? But always a pleasure talking to you. Never change, because there's a lot of people out there that just give the answers they're expected to give, and you're always yourself. So I hope that stays that way.
Appreciate it, Daniel, man. Take care.
And you, mate. Speak soon.
Bye, bro.